Next instance, Aaron. A lot is made of the two words that are said of Aaron's immediate reaction to the death of his two sons. Like Judah's sons, we are to understand that Aaron's sons, Nadav and Avihu, are killed because they displeased God. Again, lots of ink has been spilled about Aaron's silence here, Vayidom Aharon, in reaction to his son's death. And explanations for this range from Aaron was silent because he assented to God's punishment, to Aaron is rewarded for his silence because by hearing directly God's next communication, to Aharon was screaming silently in his head, but nothing came out. But can we just take a moment, instead of bringing those words out of context, can we take a moment to look and fret over the statement that Moses makes to his newly bereaved brother, where Moses says, after Aaron's sons die, Hu asher diber Adonai lemor bikrovai ekadesh ve'al pnei ha'am ekabed. Moses says to Aaron, this is what the Lord meant when he said, through those near to me, I show myself holy and I gain glory before all people. Yes, Moses says, God killed your sons because God needed to consecrate the new holy space. Let's contrast this for one moment to the moment that Job's friends show up for him. Now, let me just say that there's not a lot to learn from Job's friends beyond what not to say. But there is this moment when they arrive that they also are silent. Not just silent, they are silent for 7 days and nights. And this is the origin of the lesson that we should be silent when we enter a Shiva house until we are spoken to. The one to break the silence here is Job. No one else. Only when he is ready. I wish that instead of thinking about the silent Aharon, the Aharon who has just suffered the extremely traumatic and public loss of his two sons, the Aaron who amid that loss is doing the best he can to suppress slapping his brother, the national leader who said something dumb and profoundly insensitive, in the face. I wish that we remembered that only a few verses later there's this narrative instead. Later in chapter 10, at the bottom of this slide in Vayikra, that is Leviticus, first I want you to hear the charged vocabulary, where it says, Bnei Aharon hanotarim, the remaining sons of Aharon. I confess, and some of you have heard that it is still hard for me to say anything about my children as a group. And it's hard for me to answer when someone asks the seemingly innocuous question, how are your children? I have the benefit, because of my circumstances, of being able to say my twins if I want to group my children differently. But I have also said in more painful moments, my remaining children. But here we have yet again Moses criticizing Aharon's remaining sons, as they seem to be performing the newly inaugurated rites of the Mishkan incorrectly. Let's be clear. Grief fog is a real thing. I still, a year later, don't always feel like my brain is anchored with all its screws sometimes. And the rituals they're supposed to be performing are relatively new. So Moses says again, your sons are doing the wrong thing. And look at Aharon's response to Moshe. Finally, and not so distant from his first silence that everybody makes a big deal about, when Moshe criticizes them again, Aharon says, They are doing the best they can. They brought their sin offering and their burnt offering before the Lord. Vatikrana oti ka'ele. And such things have befallen me. Moses, shut up. This is not Moses communicating based on something that God said. This is Moses being insensitive. And this moment at the end of this passage where the text feels that it needs to tell us Vayishma Moshe Vayitav Be'einav is, I think, one of the most ridiculous, because it really doesn't matter what Moses thinks. And Aaron is my hero for having at this point put Moses in his place.